Well, good morning. Yeah, 4:44 a.m. Let me just do the title and the blurb and then I'll start talking again. When Good People Argue is the title for today. And the blurb is, I was supposed to have an interview with Karen Collin today, for which I was grateful. I would not have to share my raw feelings. Well, I just got an email from her and she has to make a trip to Jakarta and will not be able to do the interview until she gets back home to Austria next week. So, here I am again, feeling vulnerable and rehashing the events of recent days, mostly beating myself up for my feelings and reacting the way I have done. It's one thing to have a stranger criticize you, and quite another when it's your own family. That's why it hurts so much. Now, just even more recent than the interview I got from Karen, I just got an interview from Anthea and Benjamin, who are South African delegates who are also in Indonesia, volunteering to do the interview today. But I had already written the blurb. I had just written the blurb and suggested that we wait till they get back to South Africa because, quite honestly, doing an interview with anyone from Indonesia is a challenge because of the poor internet connection that they have in Cirebon. So I do plan on interviewing as many of the delegates as possible. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to do 100 and some interviews because there's 100 delegates, but I'd like to get to talk to people from each continent at least, from each of the 5 continents. I know there are 7, but we don't have anybody from Antarctica, and the Americas are combined. So anyway, that's for the future, because I would like to get as many of you as possible to meet and hear and see for yourselves who these delegates are that are trying to create a world that is better and works for everyone, as I've been doing. And as most of the delegates, I think all of the delegates have that in mind, although some of them have a different idea than I do, because some of them I think I get the impression from some of them that they want to have authority, and that's just putting up another old world order. And what we really want is a new world order that the people come first, not corporations, not falsely so-called governments, not even money, not any of the things that we've been used to, but it's a new world order based on cooperation, based on compassion, based on truth, based on justice, based on full accountability for everyone, and ultimately full transparency and the fullness of our being expressed and being nurtured and being evolved so that we can all become the best we can be. Now, as I said in the blurb, my feelings have been really raw since I was going through my news feed the night before last. On Thursday evening, I came in from a family gathering around the fireplace where we were burning a fire and having a really wonderful time. And before going to bed, I thought, well, I'm just going to check my news feed and see what's there. And here my cousin had taken something that I had posted on her web page, which I posted on mine too, and on Mr. Aprianto's web page. I believe I posted it there too. When I say web page, I mean Facebook page. And anyway, she was taking it apart, paragraph by paragraph, and I didn't even read the whole thing, to be quite honest with you, because I took it, here she is criticizing and attacking. Yes, when people criticize Swiss Indo, they're criticizing me, because I've invested the better part of a year in working with these people, and I know the intent, as I said, of most of the people. Most of the people that I've gotten to get a feel for, have good hearts and want to do what is best for humanity. And I don't mean best in the way of controlling them, or controlling humanity, or putting more authority or anything like that, or telling people what to believe, but in offering people an opportunity to blossom and grow. And then there's good people that argue and argue and argue about Mr. Sino being a king. Well, he is a king. And as I meditated, even before all of this happened, and I was dealing with all the people that were criticizing and saying bad things about Mr. Sino and about Swiss Indo and calling it a fraud and calling it this and that. I mean, Mr. Sino, the first time I saw him, he cried. He's a sensitive man, and I've heard that from others. I don't know if he's as sensitive as I am, but he's a sensitive man. He cries. He wants, I mean, they say, well, he's Illuminati. Well, if he's Illuminati, he's a different kind of Illuminati. He hasn't had his conscience seared. He's a man of empathy and compassion. And that I've heard from so many people, and I witnessed it myself. And I'm wondering, how does he handle all the criticism? Does he shield himself from it? Does he not hear it? I mean, I'm in the front line. I'm doing a video every day. So I get it all the time. I mean, I know what people are saying because they're saying it to me. Sometimes in private emails, often in comments and stuff that they make on threads in both Facebook and YouTube. And damn it, it hurts. It hurts. And I know that a lot of the people that are making these are just afraid. They're afraid that it's going to be the same old thing. And instead of just expressing it as honest fear, they often point fingers and make accusations that just simply are not reality. They're simply not true. And when my cousin, I felt it was coming from my cousin, who is a very, I mean, she's not a Van Dyke side of the family, she's the Rude side of the family. And boy, they are stubborn people, the Rudes. I know that. I mean, I've grown up with that half of the family too. The Van Dyke part is very self-righteous, but the Rude part is very stubborn. And not that each doesn't have the same qualities to some extent, but I mean, that's how I would characterize them. But Jackie is really, really smart, a gifted woman, lady, gifted in her writing ability. I mean, she's one of the more intelligent members of my family from my perspective. But she has strongly different opinions. And it's not that she has different opinions, but I take it as an attack, because when you're attacking Swiss Indo, you're attacking me. And I know that's not reality, but it's my take. It's how my feelings are affected, because I wear things so close to my heart. And I want so much to have something work that goes for everybody. When she made the comment that wanting to build a bridge, building bridges is only for people that are afraid to fly or get their feet wet. I mean, that comment just tore me apart. Man, I'm not afraid to fly. And I'm not afraid to get my feet wet. But I know that I want continuity. I know that it doesn't make any sense to me to just eradicate the old world and start over again. Continuity, to me, is what brings wisdom. Because it's experience. It's the experience of transition and transformation and transmutation. It's the experience of resolving issues. Not just abolishing the other side, but actually bringing reconciliation. And again, my whole thing has been to reconcile the dark and the light, to reconcile the masculine and the feminine, to reconcile the divine and the human, to reconcile the inner with the outer, the emotions with the intellect, the intuition with the mind, to reconcile the ego with the self, to reconcile all the opposites, to integrate them, to bring them together in wholeness, not more freaking separation. So many of the things that I see as possibilities and plans that are projected have to do with separating the wheat from the chaff, separating the goats from the lambs, separating this from that and that from something else. I don't want more separation. I want integration, compassion, reconciliation. And I don't know what I have to do to make people understand. And when you argue with me, you're not scoring any points. You're only wounding. And maybe you've been wounded, and wounded people wound others. That's the way it works. When I'm wounded, I wound back. And sometimes I don't even take time to think about it. Aristo says when you write it, you at least have time to meditate on it and stuff like that. Well, sometimes I just react. And when something really strikes close to home and strikes at my heart, I react. And then I beat myself up for reacting. Because, man, I should have known better. I should have been able to do better. But I didn't. I'm human. I'm human. That's why I posted the picture about spiritual people sometimes use the F word and get mad at God and other things. That's why I posted that right after this outburst that I told my cousin to fuck you, basically. Not basically, that's what I said. And she keeps pointing out, I didn't use the word dirty money. Well, money that has blood all over it is dirty money. And that's what you did use. You said money that came from that people died for and it has blood all over it. That's dirty money. I mean, we nitpick. And it hurts. It hurts. I don't want to argue with people. Do you understand? I don't want to argue. I don't want this platform on Facebook or YouTube to be a thing to have arguments about. That doesn't serve me because I take things too personally. I'm too thin-skinned, and I've been wondering, again, do I throw in the towel? No, I'm not going to throw in the towel. But do I ever think about it? Yes, I do. And ironically, twice since this happened on Thursday night, it's not even been 2 full days yet, a day and a half about. Well, not even quite a day and a half, not even 36 hours yet. Twice I've had dreams of death. I don't remember the first one. I sort of blocked that out. That one was Thursday night. I woke up sometime in one of the segments of my sleep where I try to get a little bit of sleep, and I very rarely get very much sleep. But anyway, the other one, I was at a meeting, and someone that had died had both legs amputated before they died. And they were in the meeting and came walking up to me. And I said, Walt, is that you? Yeah, that's me. And he had shorts on and he showed me, these are my legs. These are my real legs. I got my legs back. But when I woke up and I saw that, I remembered that dream. I thought, my goodness, he's on the other side. Is that a signal that I'm going to the other side soon? And it's not that I'd be sad to die. It's that I'd be sad to die and not finish my work. I have the sense that I'm not done yet, that I haven't completed the task, the mission that I came to here to do. And that would hurt. That would hurt a lot, to not be able to see the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven. Now, I had a discussion with another one of my friends the other day, and she prays for me all the time. She's a minister. She prays for me all the time. I'm on her prayer list, but she doesn't believe it's going to happen anytime soon. And I've had so many others say it's not going to happen anytime soon. I want it to happen soon. I've lived my whole life for this. It's my dream. It's my vision. It's everything that matters to me. More than a relationship, more than anything else, more than having money, more than being able to travel, which I'd love to be able to travel and visit my friends around the world. But more than anything, I want to see established a kingdom that works. And when I say kingdom, that's the term that the Bible uses. That's the term, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. But we are each individually kings and queens. We are each royalty. We are a royal priesthood, not just royal, not just kings and queens, but priests and priestesses. We each have our own connection to the divine and our own connection to all of life. And we are each sovereign in our own right, and each have our own rights that are unalienable and unalienable, that are ours to live, and to live in fullness and to experience fullness. And we need to stop the people that have been standing in the way. Neil Dyer again posted yesterday to stop resisting. The resistance only keeps it in place. Well, that's total bullshit, Neil, and I'll keep telling you that, and you can keep on trying to convince me otherwise, but you're wasting your time. People for a long time didn't know the control system was even in place. They didn't even know they were slaves for a long time. That was just life. That was the way it was, and there was nothing they could do about it. They were in their caste system and didn't even know it was a caste system. And I'm not talking about India, I'm talking about the whole world. Didn't even realize it. And now that we're waking up, we're not supposed to resist the criminality of the people at the top that have stolen our rights, stolen our lives, stolen our value, and used it for their own benefits. We're not supposed to resist that. I think that's total BS. But anyway, it's not about arguing, is it? I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't want to be hurt by anybody. I just want a world that works. And I want to experience that firsthand. Not hear about it, but experience it with my brothers and sisters all over the planet. And Mr. Sugi, and you wonderful people in Indonesia, thank you for doing what you're doing. And I pray for you all the time that you'll be able to hold up against all the people that are trying to stop what you're doing. Because I hear you and I feel your heart. And I thank you for loving enough to want to make a world that works for all of us. Thank you. And thank each of you for listening. May you have a good weekend. Namaste.